It's been a couple weeks since we last worked on the Ranger, and since then we've ordered parts, and today we're gonna unbox them for you. Let's get started. Ugh.
At the 1.5 miles, 101.607.
Alright, so this is the most recent package that we have received, but we're opening it first because it's the smallest one.
Now, where'd that come from?
From Texas.
Now, where'd it come from?
Motorcraft Ford.
Yeah, but it came from...
Spark Surplus.
Yeah, so that came from Fleabay. Spark Surplus LLC.
Yep.
If you are looking for NOS Ford parts from the 80s and the 90s and the 2000s, Spark Surplus is a great resource. I've been buying parts from them for, I think, 5 or 6 years.
Alright, so what we have is a distributor in this box.
It's supposed to be anyway.
Supposed to be, yeah.
I think I got a sharp razor blade in it.
I don't know.
Ish.
Alright. Oh. Alright. This is what we've got.
Yeah, so I think Dad might have made a mistake. So this is a F. So one thing that I noticed right off, it's got this pad here, which this pad is for the Ford TFI module. It mounts right on the ignition module. They call it TFI. It mounts on the side here and plugs into the pickup unit. There's a plug up in there. Yep. And so the reason why we got a new distributor is because the distributor that came out of the Ranger, the gear is really worn. You hold that, I'll get the other one. So the gear right here is worn quite a bit. I don't know if you can quite get it in there, but there's a lot of wear in there and a lot of lash. And we just, the thought was that if we should just replace this. It's got 142,000 miles on it. And if we can get a new old stock one, then great. But as we can see,
there's an obvious difference.
There's a few discrepancies. So the bottom half is right, but the top is different. Yeah, it's a TFI module versus the EECIV module.
Be the box holder.
Yeah, so we'll have to take a look at that a little bit closer, I guess.
Perfect. Alright, next box. We're going to save this one for last. And we're going to do this big guy right here.
Get some more room.
Yeah. So this also comes from Texas.
This came from Redline. Well, okay, so I believe this was from Redline Engines on Amazon. I hadn't used them before, but Engine Tech. We've used some Engine Tech stuff before, so we got engine tech parts for the Ranger.
Yep.
Is that it?
Yep. All right. Let's start with this little box right here. This is the chain timing set. We've got a chain. It's pretty drippy. It's dripped out. Got this thing. It's pretty cool looking.
It's the lower timing gear.
It's the lower timing gear. That's pretty drippy too. And we got a piece of cardboard. And let me guess, the upper timing gear.
That's right.
Let's go. This one's a lot bigger than this one.
Yep.
That's noticeable.
It's a 4-to-1 ratio.
Yep. Okay. That's that box. We're going to set that on that box. Right there. Alright, and now we're going to open up this box. I don't know what this is. Got a couple different things in here.
Those are the piston rings.
Piston rings.
Yep. And what size are they?
I don't know.
Stay on there. So you
No,
got
it says 3.
third groove, yeah. Top groove, so that'd be the top compression ring. This is the second groove, that'd be the second compression ring. And third groove, these would be your oil rings, so that would be your support rings, and then your middle ring.
Okay. Awesome. Well, we have...
So the size is, so it should say STD for standard. So there's standard rings.
Okay, well, we have these, and you can kind of see through it. It's a circle. For people who don't know what those are, it's a circle. Alright, we're going to open up this box. It says it's aluminum silicone. This is not aluminum silicone. STD.
Yeah, so those are standard again. So these are...
What's the first letter? I know these.
Which ones are these?
I know these.
So this one has your thrust. So where would this one go?
I don't know. I know where these go.
Yeah. So they're both what? Bearings.
Bearings.
They're both the bearings.
I said give me the first letter. I would have guessed it.
Oh, okay. So they're both the bearings, but this one has thrust, which...
This one's thicker.
Yeah.
This one's thinner.
Yeah. So the ones that have thrust go where?
Together.
Remember we were talking about pushing on the clutch, and the clutch pushing on what on the engine, and why you need a thrust bearing.
Pushing on what on the engine? I have no idea, but it needs this.
Where do the where do the bearings go on the engine? You have a couple of spots where the bearings go.
They go like this in the little circle hole.
Mm-hmm. On which two components?
Piston.
That'll be the rings.
The rings.
And then
so
what's connected to the piston?
The rods are connected.
The connecting rods, that's right.
But that's not it.
And then you have what are all the rods connected to?
The block.
What's in the block?
The holes. Crankshaft.
The crankshaft, yes, yeah. So these are the crank bearings.
Was that so hard?
Yeah. They're the crank bearings.
Okay. Crank bearings. This one's a crank bearing. This one's a crank bearing.
They're all the crank bearings, but this one has the thrust. Yep.
This one is the thicker one is for the thrust crank bearing.
It's not necessarily. It's built different. It's built different.
Wait, but these ones are built different too.
Well, because it has this face on it. These are just.
Those are just thicker.
This is for axial. This is for radial. These are radial only.
Oh, that's why they go in a circle.
Yeah. Excuse me.
Okay. Next. Also standard.
Yep.
Oh gosh.
Well, there's only one other place for these types of bearings to be.
In the holes.
What's attached to the pistons?
The rods.
Yes, those are the
Rod bearings. See, I'm getting better.
Yeah, you are.
I'm knowing stuff.
Yeah.
So these ones, compared to these ones, are a little bit smaller. And there's no big ones.
There's no thrust.
No. There's no thick ones like this.
Oh, the wide ones.
There's no wider ones.
Yep.
Okay. Then we have this little box. It's made in Colombia.
Okay. What did it say on it?
That's what it said.
Yeah, I guess that's about as descriptive as it says.
Yep. Okay. We've got these little doodads.
Yeah, so we didn't talk
With
much
some
about
holes.
these. There's only one place that has that full shell of a bearing.
Where's that? The outside.
The outside? No.
The camshaft. What about these thin ones?
They all go in here.
See, that's what I meant by the outside.
The outside?
Well, I mean that there's the holes on the outside.
Well, there's 1, 2,
No,
3, 4.
on this side.
Oh,
I was
yeah,
looking
there's
at that
on
one.
this side. Yes, there's one.
I was looking at that one.
Gotcha.
So we got 3 of the little skinny ones. 3 of these guys. And then 1 thick guy. Yep.
Thick guy goes at the front. And why do you think the thick one goes at the front? At the front of the engine.
Because that's how it was made. Here.
So at the front of the engine, you have the timing set.
Yep.
This is where the load is on the camshaft. So this big gear is on the front of the camshaft. This gear is on the crankshaft. And this, to drive this system, so the crank is driving the cam, because the crank is being driven by the compression. Crank drives cam via chain. This is where the load on a great deal of load is on the camshaft, is where this sprocket is mounted. So the front bearing is wider, so it can carry more load.
Okay.
Yep.
Because it's more heavy duty.
Yep.
Okay. Gotcha. My drippy chain.
Drip chain.
That's that one. Alright. Now we're going to get this box open. This box.
Spoiler alert, we already cut this one open.
We cut this one.
So what you got in there?
We have in a gasket.
Oil pan gasket.
Oil pan gasket. It's orange. I love it. It's perfect for me. My favorite color is orange. Anybody didn't know, which probably a lot of people don't know, but that's okay. Orange.
Rear main seal.
More circles.
Front crank seal.
This one's the front, and this one's the what?
Rear.
The rear. Front, rear. Wait. Those are the same size. Okay. More little rings.
Oil pan plug, and then the O-ring, I'm not sure.
Okay. The clear one is the oil pan plug, and this one we have no idea.
Well, I have a list. It should have a list on the front. So if we look right here, so we've got water pump, timing, oil pan, oil drain, miscellaneous O-ring.
Why do we need a miscellaneous O-ring?
Oh, by the way, black O-ring, miscellaneous. That's what it says.
That's exactly what it says on there.
And then you've got timing cover, water pump.
Yeah, and these are like a papery, well, they're not paper, but they feel like a paper.
Yes, they are.
Okay. Closing up that box, moving on to this box. This box has got more stuff in it. We've got 2 cylinder heads, 2 valve covers, 2 intake manifold, I don't know what that says.
Plenum.
2 throttle body, 6 injector O-rings, 2 exhaust manifold, 1 something valve.
EGR.
Yep. 1 air bypass, 1 water outlet, 7 miscellaneous
7 miscellaneous O-rings.
16 valve cover grommets.
Why wouldn't you want 7 miscellaneous O-rings? I mean, that's
I don't know.
perfect. Everybody needs 7 miscellaneous
O-rings.
O-rings.
So this is...
I don't know if they really want to see every single gasket in here.
I think they do.
They do?
I like them.
Okay.
I think these are the fun part.
Okay.
I like the gaskets. So this is one. We won't go into depth. We won't go into depth on them.
I will try to identify them as they go by.
Okay.
Miscellaneous.
Miscellaneous.
So that's miscellaneous. No, that's valve cover. So you got valve cover in there. EGR,
those are our grommets.
Valve cover, EGR, water neck, miscellaneous O-rings.
Yep. Okay, I'm gonna guess that these are gonna be, how many are there? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Nothing in here says 12.
So those are...
Oh, valve stem seals.
Yep. Those are valve stem seals. Nice. Yeah, we missed the little options.
12 valve stem seals and 2 end seals are also in here.
Yeah.
Okay, this is plastic.
Oh, sorry. This was not valve cover. This was... Oh, yeah. These are... this has got your intake manifold. Intake manifold stuff. That's your upper intake manifold.
There's only 3 of whatever's in here.
Those are your throttle body, and...
2 throttle body and 1...
2 throttle body, and I don't know.
Air bypass.
Air bypass. There we go.
Alright, and now, more dripped out here at Light Star Racing.
Wear them like a necklace.
Yep.
Is there valve cover?
You get one too.
Yep.
There we go. These are wet.
On we get.
Yep.
It's pretty good.
Gotta cross your arms, Dad.
Oh yeah. No.
Yeah. Alright, so these are valve covers.
Yep, valve cover shields.
Yep. Alright, and now we have some more paper-like, well, these ones aren't really paper-like.
Exhaust. These are aluminized exhaust gaskets. These are
aluminized exhaust gaskets.
These are kind of...
Not this one.
I don't know. These are goodish, not really. I don't know. We'll find out.
Well, that's what they are.
Well, they got the paper on the back side, which I think is okay. It's the ones that are like this on both sides.
On both sides.
That is not so great.
This thing looks like bubbles.
That's a upper to lower intake manifold gasket.
That's a lot of words. Upper to lower intake manifold gasket.
And it's a 6-cylinder. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Got 6 runners from the plenum.
Yep. Okay. Moving on, we have 2 of these things.
Those are the lower intake manifold gaskets to the cylinder heads. Now we had, so on these, so when we remember, I think it's in the video, but each one of these holes is for a push rod. And remember we had, no, it was the intake manifold had a push rod through it, wasn't it? And we were trying to take it off.
Yes.
Anyways, yeah. So the gasket, it hooks in, but the manifold for some reason has a captured push rod hole, which is kind of weird.
And then we have
the other head gasket.
The other gasket. Okay, let's put this all back in here. Alright. We got one more box out of this pack. We have, it says Bomba. That's it. That's all we got.
There's another box.
There's another box for this box?
No, there's another box with that.
Well, there's this box right here.
No, there's another one.
Okay. Can I take this out?
Yeah, go ahead.
Alright.
And what's that?
That's sticky.
Got some shipping goo on it, huh?
Ew, it's really sticky. Yeah.
What's that?
Stuff goes through that.
What goes through that?
It's a liquid, right?
The engine oil?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it's got a screen on there because you don't want
gunk to get in there.
You don't want big things to go through it.
Because if big things go in there, then it blows up. Probably not, but that'd be fun.
What would be fun?
If something blew up.
You don't
Look, there's
blow
purple.
it up.
There's purple on it. You see that?
Oh yeah, it must be like a quality control check. Visual.
Oh, there's green on it too.
Yeah, went through the QC checks there. We're missing a box. We're gonna have to
look for it.
Pause and come back. There's another box that goes with this.
Well, let's finish with this one.
Yeah.
With like this set. So I got another box.
Well, no, there's a box that goes with this stuff.
Okay. We actually have another box.
Yeah, we found another box. It goes with the engine kit. So this was a master rebuild kit, and it was all supposed to be Engine Tech, but from the company that we got it from, we ended up with also this box separately. So let's check it out. What do we got?
Let's open her up. All right, we have some nice bubble wrap.
Why are you doing that?
All right, so we open the box, and this is what we see. It's a really cool box. Got some cool patterns on it. And we've got all 6. Let's take one. So this, what is that? What? I don't know what this is.
It's a wrist pin.
It's a wrist pin. I haven't seen one of these before.
We haven't taken them out because this engine has press fit wrist pins, so we haven't pressed the pins out.
This. And then all of them come individually wrapped because they're not breakable, so I don't know why, but it's okay.
Well, it's
fun to take apart.
You don't want to scratch them because they gotta.
Okay. Well.
Because there's a coating on the skirt.
So it's got a piece of blue on it.
Ah.
Yep. It says STD on it.
What does that stand for?
Standard.
Standard.
Yep.
So what does standard mean?
I don't know.
That means it's standard size. So
standard size.
Yep. So it's the size is whatever the engine originally was machined to.
Yeah.
Now here's an old piston.
Here's a new one.
And a new piston. One thing that we'll notice difference here is this is a flat top piston and this has a bit of a pop up. So in the early 2000s to the end of the run of the Ford 3-liter Vulcan, they had a higher compression later on. So we got a kit that has the later style piston so we can bump our compression a little bit on this earlier 93 3-liter.
Mm-hmm.
And then the wrist pins, they're pressed in. So the reason why you haven't seen the wrist pin would be right here. That's in there. Yep. So that's a new wrist pin. Okay. And the way that these work is the end of this connecting rod is actually heated up. Mm-hmm. So it expands so that pin can be installed. And as the metal cools, it contracts. Mm-hmm. And it's what they call a force shrink fit. So it will actually hold that pin because it's shrunk down on it to keep it centered. So it will move side to side in the piston, but the wrist pin doesn't work its way out and drag on the cylinder wall. Okay. The rod holds it. Now the other thing would be a floating pin, a full floating pin, which means that it would be loose like the pin is in the piston, also in the rod. But here in the side of the piston, there would be some clips that retain it, which I think, yeah, this is, yep. So this is a piston out of Gramps 944. Obviously, it met the cylinder wall. But this has retaining rings. See that ring right in there?
Mm-hmm.
So there's a ring right in there, and then this wrist pin is apparently, yeah, that got really hot too. So this pin, even though this one's stuck, would float between that ring, and there'd be another one over here, and the rod would also float on there. So that's the difference. So press fit, full floating. That's the difference.
Okay. This one compared to the old one too, it's got some gray stuff.
So that's a coating on the skirt, so that it's a coating to have less friction on the skirt.
It's
because this is
smooth.
Yep. So where the piston is in the block, this is where the force is. That's where the load is against the skirt face here and the skirt face there. And what's actually, this is a good example of it here too. This is where you can see on this piston nothing here because this area doesn't really touch, but this got really hot and didn't have lubrication, so it dragged here and here. And that's the load face where it pushed up against the cylinder. Also fun is just to see the difference in size. This is a 4-cylinder. This is a 6-cylinder.
That's a car and this is a truck.
Yeah.
That's
but there's more of these to make up for this.
Yeah.
There are 4 of these, 6 of those. So
I just think it's funny because it's like car, truck.
Yeah.
So that's that.
So those are standard. I think I don't know if we mentioned those are standard pistons. So we got these in so we could measure here, and we only have 1 cylinder that's kind of so-so, but we're gonna take a closer look at it today. But we had to order in the pistons to measure to see what size they were going to be before we make a decision on if we have to get the engine machined or not. So we got standard rods, mains, and pistons so that we can install them and measure them and make sure that they're usable without machine work.
So that's that box. Alright, let's move some stuff out of the way here. Alright. This box is from California.
Yep.
From where though?
So this is another Fleabay. Yeah, Clutch America on Fleabay, which I bought a couple of clutches from them before. They are a very value oriented company, but the 2 clutches I've used so far have been decent.
Okay. Got some papers here. Okay. Let's open up this guy first. Alright. What is this? Oh, it's sticky. I touched the only sticky part on it.
That's the alignment tool and the pilot bearing.
Okay, that is sticky, don't touch it. Okay. Oh, it's a bag. They should put everything in bags. Like a Ziploc bag.
Yeah.
So it's easier to put it back in, you know? And you can, yeah. More O-rings.
Oh yeah, those are for.
And then a line one.
That's for the connection or on this unit here, I believe. So this is your hydraulic throwout bearing. So this is what.
Ooh.
Yeah. So this is what pushes on your clutch to release it, and then the
Okay.
hydraulics are via this connector here.
That's pretty.
That goes to your truck.
Yeah.
That goes to your clutch master cylinder, and then this is your bleed port.
Okay.
But this is hydraulically will push your clutch.
What does this do?
I don't actually know what that little pin is for.
It's metal.
Yeah, that's the same thing, Brooke, is in the 944 hydraulic.
Wait,
same cylindrical type
Oh, that's like.
clutch.
You made it look easy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, it's got a spring. It's got a regular spring return.
Cause see, now you can just stick it back in the bag, and you can seal it back up. Oh dang it! Instead of having to like rip the bag, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I'll do that later. Alright. Now I've got this box.
What's that?
Oh, I know what this is. I do know what this is. What does it start with?
C.
I don't know what this is.
It's the clutch disc.
Yeah, I wouldn't have guessed that. I know, I've seen it before.
Yeah.
Alright.
So we opted for the 6-puck ceramic clutch disc, only because we want a little bit more holding power, and if we're going to put a clutch in it anyways, we'll just future-proof it, because if we end up spraying a little bit of nitrous on it, we don't want to just end up driving through the clutch. So we went with the ceramic clutch, which might so-so on learning how to drive a standard for you. It will be a little more grabby, but you'll be fine.
Okay. Next box. This one's a little bit heavier. Oops. First letter, please.
C? No, how about P? How about P?
P.
Yeah. It's PP. Not a PP peripheral
What's
port.
the first word?
It's a pressure plate.
Oh.
So this is the pressure plate.
Oh,
So,
it looks like a plate.
yeah, so it's the pressure plate.
Ow.
So this is what mounts up against your flywheel. Your clutch disc is in between here.
Mm-hmm.
Your throwout bearing. Let's get your throwout bearing out. Get your throwout bearing. So your throwout bearing sits over here, like this.
Okay.
Okay, and if we push on that, you can see.
Oh.
So this sits like this normally,
Yeah.
and then when you push on the clutch pedal, the hydraulics here. Now I'm not strong enough to actually push on the springs on the fingers.
Yeah.
But when you push on the clutch, it will push. The spring in here is only to keep it engaged at neutral state.
Yeah.
On the fingers. But when you push on the hydraulic clutch, this will push on these fingers.
Yeah.
And those fingers
We'll push
actually they retract the pressure plate. So when you push these fingers in, it actually pulls the pressure plate back.
Oh.
Or it relieves the pressure. I should say it doesn't really pull it back.
Okay.
It relieves the pressure of this face against the clutch disc, which sits in between here. It was in the bag, right?
What?
The clutch. Yeah, here we go. So the clutch disc is here. And then your input shaft to your transmission is here. So this is what sends power. This sends power through your transmission.
Mm-hmm.
And this is how we're coupling the engine to the transmission. So the engine is connected to the flywheel. And the flywheel has the pressure plates bolted to the flywheel.
Mm-hmm.
And this is only connected to the transmission in here. So this, when you push the clutch in, spins freely, disengaging the engine from the transmission. But when you let the clutch out, these fingers, these springs here, push the pressure plate and sandwich it against the flywheel, holding this to the pressure plate, so then the engine is coupled to the transmission.
Okay.
And what disengages it is your throw-out bearing.
Does it sit like this?
It's fine. Either way.
Okay.
Yep. I don't think it's going to matter anyways.
Okay.
Or it's not going to make a great deal of difference. Sitting on the
All right.
springs or sitting on the clutch
Last
base.
thing, I do know what this is.
What is it?
This is the flywheel.
It's the what?
The flywheel.
What? How do you know that?
Not because it says it on the box.
What?
I would know this one.
Would you?
Yes.
Yes, you would. Yeah, sure.
Comes with some fun little
Yep.
triangles.
And we opted for a new flywheel because Gramp said, I didn't actually look at it myself, but Gramp did some more looking at the parts after we took it apart, and he found it was missing. It was missing a tooth. So that Mom had a car that I swear only had 2 teeth on it. It would take like 15 tries to get it to start when we first met, but that one tooth missing, it will inevitably wear the starter out probably prematurely. And the other thing is too, so this flywheel here, where it's probably the original flywheel, 142,000 miles, we'd have to have this resurfaced, so we'd have to have it ground.
Okay.
This face would have to be ground to be freshened up anyways. And for the cost of a clutch kit, this whole clutch kit was $230 with the flywheel. The extra money to buy a whole new flywheel that has all of its teeth was less than probably having this reground. So that's why we opted for the new one.
Nice. Oh, this is also sticky.
Not to mention too, if we look at the back sides of these teeth, they're worn. They're worn here from the starter engaging.
Yeah.
So every time that bendix, which is the helical part that pushes the gear into this gear, it kind of whacks the end of the tooth, and it rounds it. So if you look at it like this, you can see that's got kind of a bevel to it. Whereas if you look at these, it'll be nice and square.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. This is really sticky and kind of heavy, and
Yep.
I fear that I'm going to drop it.
Yeah, that's all right.
But it's shiny, and it looks like that one, but with more teeth.
So that's all of our stuff, huh?
Yeah, that's our haul.
That's the haul. That's all
That's
the
our
stuff. So
haul.
we got a master rebuild kit, which
That's
we've
the
got standard bearings and standard pistons, standard rings for, which we got to do some measuring and make sure that those are going to be okay. We got a distributor that's not exactly right, but it's not who we bought it's from fault. It's Dad's fault when he ordered it. He thought it was the right one. And we got a clutch kit. We got a new clutch kit for it. And it's a stage 3.
Yeah.
Stage 3.
That one goes first. Then that one.
I think it's a stage. Oh, I got dirty.
Dad.
Stage 2.5.
Nice. Thanks for watching our haul. Catch you next time.